have people debating if they should ever be allowed to wear the Heat culture jerseys again, or at least for the next year, 2 years, 3 years. There has to be a moratorium on wearing the Heat culture jerseys after you suffer not just a 55-point loss in Game 4, but the worst sweep in the history of the NBA postseason. And by that, I mean they lost all 4 games by a combined total of 122 points. And that is history. That is the worst a team has ever faced when it comes to their exit in the playoffs. So that stinks to watch if you're a Heat fan. But then it has to be made significantly worse to watch Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, Playoff Jimmy, have 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, go 12 of 12 at the free throw line, including some clutch ones down the stretch, have a game-sealing rebound, like literally the epitome of why they call him Playoff Jimmy. And then he gets the walk-off interview on the broadcast last night, and what does he say? I got my joy back. If you're a Heat fan, you just have to be sick. You just have to be ill. Like, you could not have had a worse night. And for me, I'm like, well, there could be something worse than how the Memphis Grizzlies season came to a conclusion.
Oh, yes,
there's something. I love being reminded that somebody always has it worse. And last night, it was the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler was awesome. I think the Warriors are, like 28-5 now with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry both playing. And Steph barely... Not that I don't want to say he barely did anything, but he had an off game for Steph. It's not like we're sitting here coming out of a big Warriors postseason win in the space that it normally feels that we are, and it's the heroics of Steph Curry. But like Jimmy Butler was the star last night. And I know you have said that Pistons-Knicks is your favorite series of this postseason. And I was sitting there last night thinking to myself, I think Warriors-Rockets is mine. And that's because it is first team, all drama, first team, all theater. And you know, I love when those extra things are, and it was physical as hell. Like the first half of that game was wrestling at that point. And we finally got some basketball late down the stretch. But everything was about this. Oh, look at the cackle. Look at the cackle. And then Jimmy Butler, read those lips. What does he call him? What does he call him?
Can't say
a B
those things.
And a bum.
I can't say those
Double
things
B.
on air.
A B
Whisper
and a bum.
in his ear, Dillon, let him know.
A B and a bum.
Let's go.
A B and a bum.
I love playoff basketball.
Love playoff basketball. I do hate not being an actual part of it. And I know I kind of cheat because in my household, I do live with a psychotic Warrior fan. And for the record, I did remove myself from the same room as him last night. We watched the second half in separate rooms, and that felt like it was for the best. But the words that my husband delivered to Dillon Brooks not from our couch, because he rose and he stepped up to the television and he was angry. And look at Jimmy could barely run after that block, and the hate that he has for Dillon Brooks fueled him. After the game, Jimmy Butler flat out said, I don't like Dillon Brooks. Stop me if you've heard that one before. I don't like Dillon Brooks.
Join the club.
Join the chorus. It is it's so Dillon. It's just so Dillon Brooks. At one point in the first half, I'm like, God, I miss that energy on the team. And we didn't talk about this on the show, but I think I told you afterwards yesterday. I had my wrong laptop because I forgot my laptop charger over the weekend. So I had to use my personal MacBook, which I just don't use very often. So it wasn't connected to my iCloud. And I logged on yesterday morning to prep for the show, and my Notes app popped up. And the last time I had been signed into my Notes app was May of 2023. And the note that pops up on my laptop is, Dillon Brooks will not be back under any circumstances, like in quotes. And it was at the end of the Dillon Brooks time here in Memphis following that Lakers series and when everything went to the end. But watching that game last night, I had to chuckle because, one, there have been slight, faintly reminiscent moments of this Warriors-Rockets series that reminds me so much of the 2022 Grizzlies-Warriors series. Young, plucky, tough, brash 2-seed trying to end the dynasty. But if history repeats itself, you'll also see the Warriors go off to win another NBA title, which, watching that team last night, I could see it.
What?
Yeah, no. I don't think... It's just because, how do they keep doing this? And then they add Jimmy Butler, one of the greatest postseason players we've ever seen, and they get lucky with a vulnerable 2-seed, right? This Rockets team has some big positives to it, but God, are they young and dumb sometimes. Jalen Green was awful last night. Lost in all of this, like, until Dillon Brooks whispered sweet nothings in his ear and had his little cackling moment, like, Jimmy Butler was not really performing. I think 23 of his 27 points came in the second half, and he looked struggling on that chase down block that ended up being a hard foul on Dillon Brooks. Just like inspired by the sheer hate of one man to chase him down in that moment. But then it felt like he got a burst and he kind of like played, and that's what we see happen all the time. Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. Whatever else is Advil continues to be a hell of a drug. Hell of a series or a playoff postseason thus far for Advil. But yeah.
Hate.
It was a great game.
Ask Luke Skywalker about hate and what it can do.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.